I was taking a look at the videos, and I noticed that I hadn't put any videos on there on how to do the saws. So what I've done is, here's a completed version of the game, but I want to show you the process of how to add a saw to the game. This isn't going to match up with the stuff we've done so far. This is kind of just an add-on to the end. So if you're looking over here to see which objects that were created, I'm making this video kind of after the fact. So it may not match up with yours. Looking at the saw blade, first we have to create the sprite. So I'm going to create the horizontal sprite for the saw. We'll give it a meaningful name. Sprite saw horizontal. And we'll load up that sprite. So there's our saw blade. We'll shut off precise collision checking and just do full image rectangle. Now that we have the sprite, we can create the object. Do that now. And then there's 4 events we need to add for the saw. The first one is the create event. This is the horizontal saw, so we want it to start either going left or right. And the speed we want to use is something that divides evenly into 40. So we're going to choose 4. So it moves relatively slowly. Since I hit 2 arrows, it will randomly select one when it starts. So again, we're in the object saw, horizontal. In the create event, we're getting it moving. Now, if the saw should collide with a wall, what we want it to do is just reverse its horizontal direction. So the saw's going along, it hits the wall, we want it just to go back the way it came. Same thing is for the rock. If it hits a rock, we also want it to just go back the way it came. So those two are very similar. Last thing is the kind of weird one. What happens when the saw hits the koala? So here's the koala.
So should we add the koala dead sprite too?
Yeah, we'll need the dead sprite. Because if the saw hits the koala, we need to have the dead sprite available. And so we're looking at the koala, and if it hits the koala, we want to change we want to play the sound, the dead sound. So here's our sound. Explosion, click, music. Oh, here it is, sound saw. So play the saw sound, set looping to false, and then change the other thing, which is, in this case, that's the koala. And we're going to change them into the dead koala in the perform events, yes. Let me just show the dead koala really quickly here. The dead koala, when it gets created, it kind of shoots them up to the right at an angle of about 90 degrees or 80 degrees. At a speed of 15, and we also set some gravity, so it'll go up for a while and then it'll fall off the screen. Yeah, so the direction is 80 and the speed is 15. So what we're doing is we're taking the koala and shoot it almost straight up, just a little to the right, and then gravity will take it over and pull it down off the screen. And then, so that's the create event for the koala, the dead koala. And then when it goes outside the room, this is where we sleep. That means they lost the level, they have to restart. So we sleep for like a second. Make sure to set redraw to true.
So outside room.
Yeah. Outside room is, you say add other. It's kind of hard to find. It's under other.
Is it false or true?
You want to set it to true. Outside room is there. Yeah, restart current room. So If any of the koalas die, then they have to restart. Room restart is right here, this one. So let's try that in, say, a room at the start here. Okay, so there's my saws. They're bouncing back and forth. If I push the rock, see how the saw gets stuck? The other thing we want to check is if he goes outside the room. So he gets hit by the saw, he shoots up to the right a little bit and then falls off the screen. Then it restarts the level. See that? So here he is. He comes up here, falls off the screen. Let's double check our saw to make sure we have the settings right. First thing I want to check is if the saw is supposed to be solid. Here's the vertical one that I had before. Where's my vertical saw? Oh, there's horizontal. Oops. I have two horizontal saws. There's the problem. Yeah, so I've kind of messed this up. Let me change this into the vertical saw. It's pretty much the same thing, except you're going up and down now. Here with the vertical saw, we want to go up and down. If it hits the wall, this time we want to change vertical direction, not horizontal direction. If it hits the koala, we still want the same thing to happen, but if it hits the rock, we also want to change directions here. So that's what the vertical saw will look like. Let me check the room now. So I'll put a vertical saw in now too. Okay, so there's the vertical saw.